Magandang araw sa inyo. Narito ang inyong Kuya Win upang patnubayan, padaliin at bigyan kayo ng kaalaman sa mga aralin sa matematika. At nagsasabing, learning math is easy and fun. Factoring Polynomials Part 2, which is all about factoring difference of two squares. Let's study the square root and the perfect square. The square root of 1 is equal to 1, since 1 squared is equal to 1. Square root of 4 is equal to 2, since 2 squared is equal to 4. Remember that the exponent tells you on how many times you are going to multiply the base by itself. So if we are going to expand 2 squared, it will become 2 times 2. Next, square root of 9 is equal to 3, since 3 squared is equal to 9. Square root of 16 is equal to 4, since 4 squared is equal to 16. Square root of 25 is equal to 5, since 5 squared is equal to 25. Again, remember that the exponent tells you on how many times you are going to multiply the base by itself. So if we are going to expand this, it will become 5 times 5. Let's now proceed for the variables. Square root of x squared is equal to x, since the quantity of x raised to 2 is equal to x squared. Square root of s raised to 4 is equal to s squared, since the quantity of s squared raised to the power of 2 is equal to s raised to 4. What are we going to do here is we need to divide the exponent of the radicand, which is 4, divided by to the index of your radical sign. The index of the radical sign here is 2, which is not presented. 4 divided by 2, that's why we have 2. Do you understand? Now, let's have square root of a raised to 8 is equal to a raised to 4, since the quantity of a raised to 4 to the power of 2 is equal to a raised to 8. Square root of x squared y raised to 4 is equal to xy squared. Again, we need to divide the exponent of the variable to the index of your radical sign. 2 divided by 2, that's why we have 1 here. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. Since the quantity of xy squared raised to 2 is equal to x squared y raised to 4. In this part, we are going to apply power of powers, wherein we need to distribute 2 for each variable. And that is why we have x squared y raised to 4. Last example, the square root of a raised to 6 b squared is equal to a cubed b, since the quantity of a cubed b raised to 2 is equal to a raised to 6 b squared. Factoring difference of two squares. A binomial which is difference of two squares can be easily factored. This can be done by reversing the relation on special products. X plus y multiplied by x minus y is equal to x squared minus y squared. Hence, x squared minus y squared is equal to the quantity of x plus y multiplied by the quantity of x minus y. Here are the steps that we need to follow in order to factor difference of two squares. Number 1. Find the square root of the first perfect square, which is denoted as a. Next, find the square root of the second perfect square, which is denoted by b. And last step, write parenthesis with the positive and negative sign. Let's have the example number 1. X squared minus 4, wherein x squared is your first term and negative 4 is your second term. What is the square root of x squared? The square root of the first term is x. How about the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2. Let's now write our answer in parenthesis form with a positive and negative sign. So we are going to use this pattern. Just input the square root of the first term to the first term of your binomials. So we have here, and input the square root of the second term, which is 2, to the last term of your binomials. Therefore, the factors of x squared minus 4 are the quantity of x plus 2 multiplied by the quantity of x minus 2. Example number 2. 4 minus 25a raised to 4, wherein 4 is your first term, which is denoted as a, and the second term, negative 25a raised to 4, which is denoted as b. What is the square root of 4? Very good. The square root of 4 is 2. How about the square root of 25a raised to 4? Excellent. The square root of the second term is 5a squared. The square root of 25 is 5. And the square root of a raised to 4 is a squared. For the last step, write your answer in parenthesis form with a positive and negative sign. Let's use this pattern. Input the square root of the first term to the first term of your binomials. And input the square root of the second term to the last term of your binomials. Therefore, the factors of 4 minus 25a raised to 4 are the quantity of 2 plus 5a squared multiplied by the quantity of 2 minus 5a squared. Let's now move on to the last example. 9x squared minus 16y raised to 4, wherein your first term is 9x squared and the second term is negative 16y raised to 4. What is the square root of 9x squared? Marvelous! The square root of the first term is 3x. The square root of 9 is 3 and the square root of x squared is x. How about the square root of the second term, which is 16y raised to 4? Okay, let's see if your answer is correct. The square root of 16 is 4. And the square root of y raised to 4 is y squared. Gotcha! The square root of the second term is 4y squared. Again, do not forget to write your answer in parenthesis form with the positive and negative sign. Let's use this pattern. Just input the square root of your first term, which is 3x, to the first term of your binomials. And input the square root of the second term, 4y squared, to the second term of your binomials. There you have it. Therefore, the factors of 9x squared minus 16y raised to 4 are the quantity of 3x plus 4y squared multiplied by the quantity of 3x minus 4y squared. This topic is very easy. Now, it's your turn to answer this activity. Mathematics requires practice, practice, and practice. Ako ulit si Kuya Win ang nagpapaalala na learning math is easy and fun. Para patuloy na matutunan at maintindihan ang math, huwag kalimutang i-like, subscribe, at hit the notification bell para updated ka sa mga lessons natin. I hope ay marami kang natutunan. Maraming salamat!